Welcome to Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by LA's First Choice Auto Auction on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. It's your chance to hear directly from the head of Lion football. Now, live from Topolok Catering in downtown Hammond, here's Alan Waddell.
Saturday afternoon, our Southeastern Lions travel to Oxford, Mississippi to battle the Ole Miss Rebels out of the SEC. Our Lions put up 375 total yards against the Rebels and took Ole Miss to the wire, as the Rebels didn't put this game away until the final minute. It was certainly a different feeling walking out of the stadium on Saturday afternoon, as in the past, we may have been content with just playing with a team like Ole Miss, but this team and coaching staff had a sense of frustration not coming out with the win. And after rewatching the game, and if it wasn't for a few mistakes, our Lions certainly could have knocked off the Rebels on Saturday. This was our final tune-up game of the year as the quest for a Southland Conference championship begins this Saturday night against the Lamar Cardinals, who come in 2-1 and were a playoff team a year ago. So Lion Nation, we need you this Saturday night. Good evening, Lion fans. I'm Alan Waddell, and I want to welcome you to Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by the Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction, live from our home, Topolok Catering, right here in Hammond. Thank you so much for joining us, wherever you may be tonight, whether on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network or watching live on the Southeastern Sports Network through YouTube. We'll be with you until 8 o'clock, and over the next hour, we'll get Coach Scelfo to break down this past week's game against Ole Miss. Linebacker coach Chris Lashney is here, and we'll hear from him, and also we'll tell you all you need to know about Lamar, who come in this weekend to start conference play. Let's take a break, and when we come back, I'll be joined by the head football coach of your Southeastern Lions, Frank Scelfo. Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo is presented, as always, by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topolok on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
What do you love most about being a student athlete at Southeastern?
So I chose teammates for life because on our golf team, nobody's from the same spot, but the friendships we've made, once we graduate, I know we'll always be friends, we'll always see each other, we'll always come back and visit.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
All right, welcome back inside Topolok Catering. I'm Alan Waddell. This is Inside Southeastern Football with Coach Frank Scelfo, presented as always by the Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction. We have a jam-packed show for you. We'll be with you until 8 o'clock tonight. We're going to break down the game against Ole Miss. We'll get you ready for Lamar as they come in here this weekend. If you're just joining us this time for the first time this year, we're going to do our giveaway. We have a signed football by Coach Scelfo we're going to give away at the end of our show, so we're going to be doing some giveaways each and every week right here at our program. But at this time, we're going to welcome to the show the reason you're all listening, the reason you're watching, the reason you're here, to hear from the head football coach of your Southeastern Lions, Coach Scelfo. Coach, thanks for being here. This past week you traveled to Ole Miss, and you're in the game to the final minute.
Yeah, it's you don't want to take away moral victories. You really have to look at the overall body of work of the game and what we did and how we played. And, at the end of the game, you look up at the scoreboard. And we didn't come out ahead, but I know there was a lot of things that took place during the course of the game that I was really pleased with. We've got some work to do. We've got some things to clean up, but I thought we competed for 60 minutes, Alan. And I think that's the most you can ask of you guys. And then we got to do, as a coaching staff, we got to do a better job of instilling some good habits in them across the board, offense, defense, special teams. So when guys have a chance to make a play, make them. And if they do that, then we'll be fine. But I was really happy with our guys' effort. That we had a chance to crumble when they jumped up by 17 in the third. And we didn't. We fought back, got back within one possession, and stayed there. And just kind of gave out at the end and didn't have enough gas. They kind of took it to us right at the end of the game, close it out.
Coach, anytime you look at a game, there's always going to be some good. There's going to be some things you could have done better.
Sure.
We'll start with the good, certainly. 375 yards of offense. You put up 29 points on these guys. This is a club that in their first two games, they held Memphis to low under 20 points. They held Arkansas to 17, and one of those touchdowns was on a defensive play. So This has been a really good defensive club. You go over there and move the football pretty much at will against these guys.
It was, and I think it starts up front. I thought our offensive line really did a good job running and protecting Chasen in the pocket. So they didn't get to us till late in the game. He did a nice job moving in the pocket. So I thought for us to have a chance offensively, we had to run the football. There was a couple of things that we could scheme up, and we did. We got Coop and Devontae both free on the edge, turned it into touchdown runs. So, there was some things I thought the offensive staff really did a nice job getting the ball to the perimeter where we felt like there's a little more space and our athleticism, we could take advantage of some things.
Coach, defensively in this game, 11 tackles for loss against the Ole Miss offense that's, directed by Coach Rich Rodriguez, somebody you know very well, coached together with him. But he's been in a lot of different places.
He didn't like that.
11 tackles for loss, 3 sacks in this game. You caused a couple of turnovers. Isaac Adame Berglund was outstanding. 10 tackles for him, 2 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss, 3 forced fumbles, a fumble recovery, a pass deflection. He was named Louisiana Sports Writer Association.
And well should.
Defensively, no doubt. That's one of the best individual performances.
Absolutely. I think what you're seeing is Isaac, and we spoke about this during camp. Isaac really became, once that clock hit 0 at Thibodeau last year, he started jumping into a leadership role. This is his last opportunity to play. And he took over this spring and started becoming more vocal, and it's carried over this summer camp. And then now you're seeing he's not a guy to talk about. He's more of a guy to be about it. And that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing him do some things out there on the field, but it's his relentless effort. He's a talented guy, but he's not one of those guys that's going to be a first-round pick. He plays with pure effort, nonstop consistency, doing what he's supposed to be doing. And it's just a joy to watch him, coach him, watch him practice each day, because that's the way he practices. So it carries over to the games. There's a consistency there with him.
Coach, also, I want you to talk about Josh Carr. I thought he played a good game as well. He had a half a sack, 2 tackles for loss. Those 2 guys on the edge, they're really playing well. And also, I know you talked about it going into this year that you wanted to be different on defense. You wanted to be more of attacking style defense, play on their side of the line of scrimmage, and you've done that through the first couple of weeks against 2 really good offenses in Ole Miss and Jacksonville State.
Yeah, I think that Lance and then obviously Raymond Monica's coaching the defensive line, and he's got those guys coming off the ball, playing hard. Josh and Isaac are athletic at the end, so we felt like that they could do more stuff and create some havoc. I just know if I'm playing against guys like them, and when they play with a high energy and effort, it causes problems on offense. So that's what they've been doing. And Raymond's done a great job of getting those guys in the right spots and getting them to play fast. Like I say, they're playing with their hair on fire. They're just doing a good job. But it's about effort. Now, it's not about – we're not out scheming people and doing all that stuff. We're just playing hard. And I think it's showing up on defense all over the place.
Coach, when you go into these type of games, if you're going to pull the upset, you can't turn the football over, and I know that's something you talked about in the post game. 4 turnovers, also give up a kick return for a touchdown. You look at those numbers, 4 turnovers and give up a kick return, and it just credits to how hard you played and continued to compete that you were in this game in the fourth quarter.
We did, and you never know how much the environment affects your guys, whether it's too big or not. I didn't think it was. I thought our guys were locked in before the game. I thought they were locked in on a trip up. I saw so much. I told you I love this team. I love the character and the culture that's being created within the locker room and the leadership that's coming out. And we had some opportunities, to win this game. But again, you don't go through 60 minutes and at the end you look up and get mad because you lost or be happy because you won and then forget all the things that happened during the course of the game. Be it good or bad, it doesn't matter. You got to go back and evaluate it. You build on it, you correct it, and then you move forward. So I think there was a lot of good things. The turnovers obviously was not. The special teams touchdown that we gave up was not. It's just about guys doing their job, and we have to do a great job of taking care of the football. 4 fumbles was a huge disappointment to me. We lost only 1, but we had 4 of them. So, we got to take care of the football. We're not going to win a game if we don't take care of the football, and we have a chance to win every game if we do take care of the football. So it's not a big secret out there as to what we're doing and how we're doing it. We're a team of execution. We're not a team of innovation. Don't come over there studying us because we're not doing a bunch of fancy things. We're just blocking and tackling and playing our butts off. That's what we're doing.
Coach, before we get to a break, I want to get you to comment on Jason Virgil. 29 of 44, 309 yards, a couple of touchdowns. He did throw 3 interceptions in this game. One first play of the game, or second play of the game.
Right.
He tries to go deep. But talk about his performance. Certainly some very good things, and then I know some things that he's got to clean up.
Yeah, I think what he did really well, Alan, the leadership part that he gave us and the stability back there in the pocket, but he moved well.
Yeah.
There was some times he stepped up in the pocket. I know probably one of the best ones was the 4th down play that he threw to Branson.
Yep.
And Branson turned and picked up the first down. But he stepped up in the pocket, avoided a little high rush, did a nice job. I don't think we saw that from him last year. So you're seeing, from a growth standpoint, you're seeing what he's doing. He knows he's got to take care of the football. The fumble, rolling out, escaping, it counts as a sack for us, but he's got to take care of the ball. And then the 2 interceptions. I think the first one was a ball that we take a shot at, and Austin's got a chance to come down with it, doesn't. But then the other 2, those are poor decisions by Chase, and he's got to do a better job taking care of the football. But I think what you'll see, he was locked in today at practice. He was disappointed. He was not disappointed the fact that we didn't win the game. He was disappointed in the fact that he didn't do a better job taking care of the football because it's been a huge emphasis for him in this offseason.
I know going into the week there was some concern about their defensive front. They were big. Yeah. They were athletic. Talk about your offensive line, how you felt like they protected it.
So happy for those guys. They did. I think Pat Allen's playing at a different level. He really is. He's playing at a level that he didn't play at last year, and we didn't see it coming out of camp. But his first 2 games, he has really been good on the perimeter from a protection standpoint and in the run game, playing physical. The rest of those guys are doing the same thing. I think that group, we got 6 guys that we play with, and it's Pat, and it's Jerry Scooch, and Drew Jones, and Alfred Beverly, and Rendon Miles Character, and Wyatt Richthofen. Those 6 guys are pretty much interchangeable across the front, and they're coming together. I mean, you ought to see that. That's a group. They're like thick as thieves. I hate that to feed them all, but man, they're just coming together and playing well together. So it's fun to watch. They did a great job in the run game. But really did a nice job in protection, keeping those guys off of chasing.
It was an exciting game at Ole Miss this past week. Lions come up just short against the Ole Miss Rebels out of the SEC. The Lions will play Lamar this Saturday night, 7 o'clock kickoff at Strawberry Stadium. That'll open up Southland Conference play. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll have more right here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
Before the house, before the office, the late nights and new bosses. Before the last hugs, the wins and the losses. Before building the team, before building yourself, the rise and grinds, all day, every days. Before the letter, before the dream, there was a kid who loved to play. If you have the talent and dedication to succeed in school and in sports, we'll provide the opportunity.
What opportunity has Southeastern provided you that you will forever be thankful for?
Southeastern's giving me the education I need for my future. Whether or not I go pro, I know I'm going to be successful.
The Southland Conference, 13 member institutions, over 4,200 student-athletes, achieving success in the classroom while excelling in 19 NCAA Division I sports and making a difference through serving others and giving back to the community. Determination, hard work, commitment, excellence, and collaboration. Together, we are Southeastern!
All right, welcome back. Just getting it started. We'll be with you here till 8 o'clock. This is Inside Southeastern Football with Coach Frank Scelfo, presented as always by the Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction. We're here live at Topla Catering in downtown Hammond. If you're in the area, come swing on by here tonight. They do a great job here at Topla. Lunch menu, we have a great crowd. We're also going to do some giveaways each and every week. This week we're giving away a football signed by Coach Scelfo. We gave away a helmet. We've given away some great things, and we have some more things.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I was talking with Kimmler earlier, Kimmler Chapel. We got some really cool things coming up in the next few weeks. So you want to make sure that if you haven't caught the show, make sure you come in because you want to be entered into these drawings. Lions were on the road this past week against Ole Miss. Played the Rebels tight, played them all the way to the fourth quarter. Ole Miss really didn't put this game away until the final minute of the game. Even after that, Lions had a big kickoff return and had a chance to throw one in the end zone there at the end to try and tighten this thing up a little bit closer. I want to ask Coach, though, going into this was kind of a unique situation. You played on a Thursday night. The first game of the year, then you were off that weekend, and then the game gets canceled. So you really had 2 weeks in between this game. Did you notice any type of, I guess, rust or, maybe that you hadn't played in a couple weeks to start this one out? Because they did take the football and go down and score on the opening possession.
Yeah, they did. I think that's a mark of Rich's offense, though. I've been with him, followed him through the years. Early on, because of their tempo and how fast they try to snap the football, they put us on our heels a few times. So, we had talked about it. Let's just survive the onslaught early. We think it's going to come. They're at home. They're excited. Let's get rid of these guys and get the starters off and play the backups and all of that. Well, we survived it, and we continue to compete. So we kept a lot of that. I didn't see the rust. I thought offensively we were fairly sharp on, especially in the pass game early. And I think what it did, it gave us an opportunity. Alexis Ramos was able to practice during that week off and he really did a good job and ended up earning the starting will position. And he ended up having a big game for us, led us in tackles and things like that. So that week off was useful to us from that standpoint, helping identify a few more guys and getting some guys some reps.
This was a jam-packed game. It's going to be impossible to walk through the entire thing, but I want to go through some big scenarios and some big plays in this game. First of all, the 2 touchdown runs by offense. I thought it was nice to be able to run the football in against those guys. Sometimes when you play, an SEC team and they have those SEC fronts, it's hard to run the football on them. But we actually ran the football in on a couple of 15-yard plus runs.
Yeah, I think we had this schematically. We had a nice little deal going. Austin Mitchell did a good job blocking the safeties on a perimeter, and again, Devontae and Coop really hit it up in there, causing them to come down inside and then bounce it to the corner. I think it showed the speed that both of those guys have, and they trusted it. Once they got to the edge, they took off and didn't worry about cutting back or trying to go back to the middle of the field. They went ahead and turned it up and went down the sidelines, and both of them scored. Same end zone, same pylon, everything. So, it's good to see those guys because they gain confidence in that, Alan. Anytime guys are able to do certain things, they gain confidence, and then it carries over the rest of the year.
We were also able to – we just saw the highlight here on our broadcast, but we were able to take some vertical shots on these guys as well.
We did,
and I thought we took some vertical shots, and we hit that one right there to Juwan for a big touchdown.
Yeah, we did. The second play of the game was an interception, but we had Austin one-on-one with the safety. Another series later, we had Austin. They busted the coverage. We had him on the post route, just missed him by inches. That was another shot that we took. Took another one that was just thrown out of bounds. You saw the one that Juwan caught for the touchdown. We're going to take shots. I think we got some weapons and we got some guys that can go over the top. CJ really made a good catch on the sideline for about a 35-yard gain. So Jason feels comfortable with those guys. I think the timing on some of the stuff that we've done throughout camp and coming into the preseason, into the postseason really, but once the season started, those things have worked out for us, and he feels good about throwing it. So we got confidence in him. Our offensive line is doing a good job. Why not? Let's take the shot.
Coach, I want you to talk about your defense and a couple of sudden change opportunities. The first one, really on the second play of the game, we throw an interception. Then we go right back out and cause a turnover of our own. So we get the football right back. They don't get points there. Also, when Juwan fumbled the kickoff, and they get the ball deep in our territory, our defense holds,
that's right.
and they miss a field goal. So we did a really good job in a couple of sudden change opportunities.
And that's huge. Anytime your defense, like I said, we turned it over 4 times. And they had opportunities all 4 times that they would not have normally had. They turned it into 10 points. Well, you'd like to hold them one more time, give them 1 out of 4, but they picked up 10 points off of that. We picked up 9 points off 5 turnovers. So that was pretty much an even push, even though we turned it over 2 more times. But I thought our defense really stepped up. Again, that's the change that we're seeing, Alan, in the culture of when something goes bad, nobody's pointing a finger. It's just my time, I'm up, and I'm ready to go. And that's what our guys are doing on both sides of the football.
Coach, talk about Austin Dunlap. I mean, anytime you go into a year and you're going to have a freshman punter, I mean, I'm sure that there's a little uncertainty there. How's he going to perform when he gets on the big stage? The first game of the year, he runs out there his first college punts. It's against Jacksonville State at home, a big crowd. And then the second game, he's at Ole Miss. 4 punts in this game, 47 average, along with 50. And I thought our coverage was pretty good as well.
Our coverage was really good. Our punt team right now is really playing at a high level, but Austin is too, Alan. He's from Slidell, local guy. We signed him. We saw him, in the spring. We signed him, got him here. The day he walked on campus, he was our starter, and he's done nothing to take anything away from that. He's an awesome kid off the field, really great personality. He's an athletic guy. He's a guy that can do a lot of things, and I think you'll see him do some things in the future, but he's got a bright future here for the next 4 years.
Coach, I think the fourth quarter certainly creates a scenario that you can't really replicate at practice. You have an opportunity there. You're down by 8, an opportunity to try to go down there and tie the football game, and then a couple of times defensively to try to get off the field and get the ball back for your offense. I know that they converted probably the biggest plays of the game where they completed some third and longs in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. And what you'd like to do, we're using our timeouts, hoping we can stop them, and then punt and have the first time was about 2 minutes and 20 seconds left, which is plenty enough time to go back down the field, score, 2-point conversion, onside kick it, and win the game, So we didn't get the opportunity there. We had another chance again after that first down, and then they ended up picking up that first down and kicking the field goal and icing the game.
Coach, how did you feel about your defense? I thought it was impressive that your defensive line in those – everybody in the stadium knows they're going to run the football. They couldn't just line up and run the ball at us and get first downs.
No, they had to pick up the third downs through the air. They wasn't, and we knew they were going to run it, but our guys, I thought our front 7 guys really did a good job stopping the run and forcing them into those third and long situations where they had to throw it. And then when they did, they converted. Look, that's a good football team. Those things are going to happen against good teams, and they made the plays. We didn't. But for them to have to resort to that, it made you feel good about your guys and how they were competing and what they were doing.
Before we bring Coach Latchney up here and we kind of just end this Ole Miss game and start looking ahead to Lamar, what'd you learn about your club? This is the second game of the year. You beat Jacksonville State in week 1, who's had 2 big wins since that point, beat Chattanooga, beat Eastern Washington last week, who's a top 5 team as well. And then you go to Ole Miss, you stand toe-to-toe with these guys. What have you learned about your football team for these first 2 games?
Well, I think the biggest thing is the change in their attitude and their outlook. So that week off, we had a chance to go out there and really grind. And sometimes that's when guys, if they're not on board, that's when you hear the chirping or the negative things being said. And we didn't hear that. We saw growth. So we saw guys getting better. We saw guys accepting the fact that we're here to go to work today. We're going to put in a full day's work to get a full day's pay, and we did that. And because of that, it carried over to the game. Like I said, we made some mistakes, but that does not overshadow the fact that we competed for 60 minutes, and it didn't matter what the score was or what the situation was. If defense gave up a touchdown, offense came back out and did everything they could do. If offense turned it over, defense came out and, tried to get the ball back without giving up points. So I think culturally, that's the biggest thing for me. Everybody's got good players. Everybody's got talent. You'll see that against Lamar and the rest of the season. It's just how your team stays together through adversity, how they ride those rocky times. And I think we're close right now. I think our locker room is really close.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Coach Chris Lashney will join us here on the set. Coach will take a break, and then we're going to talk about Lamar coming up later. We'll also have our giveaway coming up. We'll take some questions at the end of our program. So we have a lot more to go here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
If you have the talent and dedication to succeed in school and in sports, we'll provide the opportunity.
Why do you support Southeastern Athletics?
So Southeastern is where our family started. We met my wife here, met all our friends here, and now it's given us 2 beautiful children, and now it's part of our family.
All right, welcome back. We're live here at Topla Catering. I'm Alan Waddell. This is Inside Southeastern Football with Coach Frank Scelfo, presented as always by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla, right here on the Southeastern Sports Network. And at this time, we're going to welcome to the show linebackers coach here for Southeastern Louisiana University, Coach Chris Lashney. And if you are a fan of Louisiana high school football, you'll know that name. He's been several places, a great coach at the high school level, and now has made his way up to the college level. Coach, first of all, thanks for being here. And for those that don't know you, tell them a little about your journey to coaching here at Southeastern.
Well, started my career in 1998 at Pope John Paul High School, which was my alma mater. Coached there for several years. I was the head coach there for the last 4 years I was there. Went to Brother Martin High School in New Orleans as the defensive coordinator and stayed there for 4 years, I believe it was, and then made the move to reserve to Riverside Academy, where I spent 6 years. The last one, the head coach, the defensive coordinator the 5 previous years before that. So.
And how did it work out that you ended up here at the college level and working for Coach Scelfo?
Well, it's not what you know, it's who you know sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And no, it was just one of those things that, the Lord works in mysterious ways sometimes. Right. And, I was able to get a hold of Coach Scelfo's ear and plead my case. And I guess I begged good enough, you know what I'm saying, because he gave me a chance.
Well, I know that there was certainly some players that you coached that we wish we were playing here. We're playing here instead of some other places that are in our conference. Yeah. So, but we're glad to have you, Coach. Talk a little bit about your linebacker group. I know one of the big storylines this week was Alexis Ramos kind of moving in that starting lineup, and he had a big game. 11 tackles in this one, a half a sack, had a couple of sacks against Jacksonville State. Also, Mike Mason had 9 tackles in this one. I thought that one of the stories going into the year was Zeke Jenkins flipping over from defense from playing offense to now playing defense. Talk about some of those guys.
Well, start with Mike Mason. I mean, I don't know if there's been a better story to me personally than Mike Mason's been. I mean, from where he was a year ago, not just as a player, but just how he handled himself and everything. The growth and the maturation that he has gone through in the year in that year to become the type of not only player that he is, the trustworthy player that he can be, but really the leader of our group. He's really come a long way, and he gives me hope waking up every morning to come in and work with people like that. Alexis Ramos was a guy who came in and went through camp with us, and kind of took him a little time to kind of get his feet grounded and things like that. But once he got it, and you see right now in the stat columns that he can be an explosive player. He's a very productive player for us. His thing was just getting such a late start. It kind of took him a little longer to kind of get into the flow of things. Zeke Jenkins the same way. I mean, he him and Alexis have been kind of battling back and forth for that spot, and if the worst thing that happens is he gives us quality depth, I think that's going to be a good thing for us down the road. We're going to need both of them to play, and they just have to continue to improve.
I think going into the season, maybe fans or media, when you were going through kind of different position groups with this football team, you got the linebacker and you maybe put a question mark.
Sure.
Because just not a lot of guys had played snaps. And
that's right.
Through the first 2 weeks, played pretty well.
Yeah, I think, when you look at it and you look at our depth chart and you look at the guys who are playing, you see senior, junior, which makes you feel pretty good sometimes. But you and I have taken as many snaps as they have, going into this year. So it's like playing with freshmen and sophomores. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go through some of those things. And the fact that we were able to come out against Jacksonville State and play as well as we had was a good thing. It just shows the dedication and the attention to detail that they brought to the table. And that's the difference, I think, between playing with new guys who are young and playing with new guys that are old, is that the new guys that are young are going to make those mistakes, but it's going to take them a little bit longer to improve them. Whereas those new guys who are older, they've kind of seen it. They've kind of seen live bullets, at least at practice before, and you correct it once or twice, and then they can kind of move on from it.
We're talking with Coach Chris Latchney here, linebacker coach for Southeastern Louisiana University. And Coach, talk about maybe I don't know if the right word's philosophy change, but just a different defense this year than we saw a year ago. 2 different coordinators. Coach Guidry comes in, Coach Monica comes in, starts working with the defensive line.
Right.
What are you seeing this year out of this scheme and what y'all are doing on the field?
Well, I think it's just the simplicity of it. I think our guys are able to play a lot faster when they don't have to think as much. And it's not that they can't think. It's just that when you're able to do things as they become routine, you become more comfortable doing it. You're able to see things faster. You're able to react to things faster. Coach Guidry and I were laughing earlier today. We had our board up there with our game plan on it, and for Jacksonville State it was full from end to end. All this stuff, and we're playing Lamar this week, and it's more of an option offense, and we had like a corner of the board filled up. We're like, man, this is going to be fun. These guys are going to be able to play really fast, and I think that's kind of what we're taking advantage of right now, and you're seeing kind of the fruits of that. Just keeping it simple, giving guys one or two things to look at and just let them be who they are.
You led me into my next question. Conference play opens this Saturday night against Lamar. This is a team that comes in. They were a playoff team a year ago. After our game with them last year, they really hit their stride. I think they won their last 6 games. They've won 8 out of their last 10 games, and we're going to talk more about this on our program throughout the night. But they are an option offense, and they want to run the football first, but then they can hit you with some big plays in the passing game. What challenges do they bring? Because this is one of those offenses where, yeah, you might keep it simple, but if you make a wrong read, they can house it.
Absolutely, which is why you want to keep it simple.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many different things to look at. You know, that you can get caught looking in the wrong place, and if your eyes aren't where they're supposed to be, I mean, they design those plays, you know, pretty intelligently. You know, there's a lot of eye candy in there, and they're trying to get you to look over here while they attack you over here. So you just have to be simple in what you do, and you have to have very clear and concise rules. And we started that process today of teaching those guys what to do. And based on one day of practice, I think they're going to do a good job.
I want to ask you, before I let you get off here, I'll just ask Coach Scelfo the same thing. You know, what have you learned about the defense? What have you learned about your linebacker group through these first couple of weeks? Well,
I tell you what probably the best part about that Ole Miss game last week was, you know, everybody from the time we walked off the field until now, it's still happening. Oh, you guys did such a great job, and you guys, you know, played them close and this, that, and the other. And, you know, that's fine outside of the locker room. But in the locker room, our guys came to meetings today knowing that they gave one away, you know, and they really feel that way. They feel that they didn't play well enough to win. They didn't do the things that they needed to do, and they were eager to start making those improvements. You know, a lesser mature team or a group might, you know, start believing all that stuff. Yeah, we are pretty good because we played Ole Miss close, but it had nothing to do with Ole Miss. The mistakes we made were on us, and it's incumbent upon us to fix them and move forward, whether it's Lamar, Ole Miss, or whoever it is. You know, so that's good to me to see the maturity of these guys and the expectations that they have for themselves, that they can, you know, play Ole Miss as tough as they did, but it's not good enough. You know, they knew that they were good enough to win that game, and a couple things, we do things a little bit differently, we might be in a different spot right now.
Linebacker coach Chris Lashney. Coach, thanks for stopping by and spending some time with us. I know that you got a busy schedule. Stop by here on a game week and spend a little time. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
No problem. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Coach Scelfo will be back on the set, and we're going to break down Lamar even more right here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
The Southland Conference, 13 member institutions, over 4,200 student athletes, achieving success in the classroom while excelling in 19 NCAA Division I sports, and making a difference through serving others and giving back to the community. Determination, hard work, commitment, excellence, and collaboration. Together, we are Southeastern!
All right, welcome back. About 20 minutes left to go here on Inside Southeastern Football with Coach Frank Scelfo. As always, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction. We're here at Topla. We are also we're on the radio network. We're also streaming on the Southeastern Sports Network on YouTube. Also on the Game Day app, so you can watch it there as well. If you're watching this broadcast and you want to send in a question for Coach Scelfo, you can type it there at the bottom of your screen, and we'll read those aloud here coming up in about 10 or 15 minutes. Coach, we're going to now turn the page to Lamar. They come in here this weekend, and since we lost that Bethune game, really only 2 games to get ready for conference play, as they all count, but they really count now when we get to Saturday night.
Yeah, and we turned the page on Ole Miss today and started moving. Our practice today consisted of Lamar, and we're done with Ole Miss. So it's a team coming in that last year at the end of the season, they were where we wanted to be. They were in the playoffs. They got on a run. We played them. We were fortunate enough to come out with a win in Beaumont, and then they reeled off 6 straight and jumped into the playoffs, backdoored the playoffs, and really played a good – who did play?
Northern Iowa.
Northern Iowa.
Very
I'm sorry. Yeah, we talked about that
play.
earlier. A good Northern Iowa team really well in that first round of the playoffs. So this is a team that Mike Schultz, I think it's in his 4th year. He's finally got his guys in there doing the things that he wants to do. He's built it. He's a guy that I've known for a long time in the profession, and he knows what he wants to do, and it just took him a little time to build. He's got the building blocks in place. Got a lot of guys coming back on offense. The whole front 4, 2 deep, is coming back on defense. They've got some skill guys that they got transferred in and some other kids that grew up. So they got a good football team, and we're going to do everything in our power to play the best that we can. I want to make sure that we got a great crowd in Strawberry Stadium on Saturday night. I hope our student body shows up again. Parties like rock stars before the game, and it brings it in the stadium, man. Because they do. When they get loud, we feed off of that energy. And the band was out there practicing today, so that was pretty cool to have Derek and those guys out there practicing while we were practicing. And, so it's the atmosphere we got at Strawberry Stadium when we got a nice crowd there. It's electric, and it's a tough place to play.
Coach, this is a Lamar team that the game we played with them last year was wild. I mean, we turned the football over 5 times. We had the monsoon there kind of halfway through the first quarter. Some strange things happened at the end of the football game, but we came out on top 30-24, and since that point, they've really been on a run. They started 1-4 last year. They won their last 6 games. They've won 8 out of their last 10. This is a team that has a lot of confidence right now. They're 2-1 on the year. They opened the season by beating Bethel University 65-16, then beat Mississippi Valley State in week 2. This past week they played their, money game as they played Texas A&M on the road over there in College Station. But this is a good football team, and kind of the light clicked on for them when they made the move at quarterback and when Jordan Hoy became their quarterback, and he's done a tremendous job for those guys.
Yeah, I got a chance to talk to him during the media days over in Houston back in July when we all met over there. And talking to him, you can see kind of the energy that he brings. He's a true leader. I think that they probably wish they would have made the switch earlier, maybe a week or 2 earlier, but he just kind of came on, and when he was in there, the whole team lit up. And he's taking them on a run that they're really excited about. So for us, their whole offense is quarterback-driven, and Jordan's the one that does it. And we got to stop him. We got to make sure that we take care of him. He's going to run the football. He's a dynamic when he runs it, like Coach Lashney was saying. They do a lot of stuff in the option game, so we got to make sure that whoever's assigned to him on each specific play, we account for him because he's got a chance to break and go a long ways.
Option doesn't look quite the same as it did, maybe back when Nebraska and all those guys were running it. It's more of a spread type option, but still the principles are the same, and it's something you don't see every week.
It's assignment football, and if the end's got the quarterback and the linebacker scraping to the pitch and the safety's got to take the quarterback in the hole, so you got to do that, So everybody's got to do their job, and you switch it up to give the offense something different to look at, but at the same time, it's so important to us, and Chris was talking about it, to keep it simple where our guys can play fast because they're athletic on offense. They run well. So they're going to play fast, and that's their offense. So they know what they're doing at all times. We have to match that intensity and speed.
Now, a year ago, I remember what they did, and I know you've had a chance to watch their game tapes from this year and then look back at what they did a year ago, but it was run the football, and then take shots down the field. Is it the same?
I think they want to take a shot, but they feel good running the ball now, Alan. They're production-wise, they're about 70% run, 60, 68 or something like that. But production-wise, they're about 50-50. They're almost 700 yards rushing. 700 yards passing. So it's about the same. So when you look at them, they would rather run, and then take that shot when they get a chance, when they catch you sneaking up into the box. You have to commit the safeties to the box sometimes to make sure that you got the right numbers in the run game with the option, because you got to account for the quarterback. And when that happens, sometimes you expose your corners with double moves and things like that, and then sometimes you expose your safeties with seam routes. So we really got to do a good job of that.
I know you were talking about defensively. It's an experienced group. They have a lot of starters coming back from a year ago. Isaiah Spencer in the middle. He's a big backer. He's athletic.
He's their player. He represented him at Media Day. Awesome guy, but you can see the intensity in his eyes when you talk to him. He's a guy we got to count for. He's he would look, if he played at Ole Miss, he would look like one of them. So he's a good-looking kid, well-spoken, that runs well, attacks the football. We got to count for him. We got to make sure that we got a hat on him at all times, because if not, he's very disruptive in the run and the pass game.
Kind of some series history. Lions lead the overall series against Lamar 10-4. So this will be the 15th meeting in Hammond. Lions lead 4-2, and in Beaumont 3-2. And again, last year's game 30-24. This weekend is also Hall of Fame weekend, as we're going to introduce some new Hall of Fame members, some great players, not only in the football field but some other sports as well. Stephen Lopez goes in baseball. Karen Smith-Gadbury goes in for softball. But two outstanding football players that wore the green and gold here for Southeastern. This knows I've been doing this for a while because I covered both of these guys. But start with Simi Yarborough. One of the best receivers to ever play here, a 4-time All-Southern Conference recipient, 3-time All-Louisiana. He's from Brookhaven, Mississippi. He still leads the program with 229 receptions, 2,780 receiving yards, and 30 receiving touchdowns. He was an outstanding player, and I know you're looking forward to a chance to meet him.
I'm looking forward to talking to him. I just heard so many great things about it. His numbers tell you what kind of player he was, but more than that, I hadn't heard anybody say anything negative about it. He's just an awesome person. So I'm really looking forward to talking to him and spending some time with him. I'm hoping they get in early when they got a chance to talk to our players and spend some time with them, because when you look back at our history and you bring those guys forward, we want them to be a part of what we're doing, but we want our players to see what came before them and the success that those guys have had, so that they can help replicate it and bring it on and, again, pitch it to future generations, future classes that come through.
And, we've had some guys play in the NFL here at Southeastern in the modern era in the last few years, but I don't know if anyone's been more, famous for Southeastern football, but Brian Bennett, who's going in as well. Brian was a 2013-2014 Southland Conference Player of the Year. Won a couple of conference championships here, and he will have a chance to make it out. He is playing professionally for Saskatchewan in the Canadian Football League. He's kind of doing what Taysom Hill does for the Saints, kind of doing a little bit of everything just as an athlete. But Brian Bennett goes in as well, and certainly I know you had a chance to coach him at the Senior Bowl, so it's somebody you know as well.
Yeah, the 1 year Jacksonville, when I was at Jacksonville, we coached that group at the Senior Bowl. Brian was one of our quarterbacks, and so I had known him prior to that. When he was at Oregon, younger, we had him at the Manning camp. He was one of our counselors there. So I got a chance to meet him then. Then when he got to Southeastern, spent more time with him because he came back to the camp. And then he was one of the guys that we requested to, join us in the Senior Bowl. The clubs kind of have a little say-so in that. So we tried to get him on our squad. We did. He played for us in the Senior Bowl. We developed. And we've had a good relationship since then. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him. Again, I hope he's able to come in, be able to spend some time with our players, talk to them about what his journey was, his path. There's 2 flags flying over our stadium that he was the quarterback, and we want another flag flying up there. And, he knows how to get us there. So that's, I want him to share his experiences and what it takes to do what he's doing, because he's had a tough road in professional football. I mean, it's up and down, and he just keeps fighting through it. Yeah,
he's sticking it out.
He does. He keeps fighting through it, but that's what his resiliency on the field and the leadership that he provided for us in those 2 seasons got us to conference championships.
Also, a couple of guys that did it different ways. One guy transferred in. One was a high school player that went right through it.
That's right. So I think there's certain ways you get these guys, and I think over the years, some of the best players are the ones that kind of fell in love with this university. I know Brian has an affinity for Hammond and Southeastern Louisiana. He wasn't just a guy that transferred in, did what he needed to do, and then got out. He keeps in touch. He calls. We stay on the phone. He's wanting to know how we're doing. I get congratulatory texts, things like that from him. So he's locked into this town, locked into this university, and it's pretty cool to watch. So I'm looking forward to seeing him, but I really can't wait to meet him, Simi.
No doubt about it. Lions and Lamar will kick off at 7 o'clock at Strawberry Stadium on Saturday. We're expecting a big crowd. And again, you're getting some national recognition. You're ranked in both polls again this week, in the coaches poll and also the stats media poll. You opened some eyes. I know a lot of people were talking about your team, but you got to win these conference games. And what's happened to this point doesn't matter. It all starts on Saturday night.
You have to, and it's going to start probably about noon, tailgating.
Yep.
And the fans are going to start gathering. All these people will be out there, and then everybody's going to – the fraternities, sororities are going to start loading up the student body, loading up, not getting loaded, just loading up. And then they're going to they rush in the stadium, and we're going to have Strawberry Stadium. It's going to be a huge, great atmosphere for us, but a huge home field advantage in Strawberry Stadium.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take our final break. When we come back, we'll do our drawing. We're going to give away this football that Coach Scelfo signed to somebody here in attendance. We'll take some questions, and we'll wrap it up right here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
The Southland Conference, 13 member institutions, over 4,200 student-athletes, achieving success in the classroom while excelling in 19 NCAA Division I sports and making a difference through serving others and giving back to the community. Determination, hard work, commitment, excellence, and collaboration. Together, we are Southeastern!
What do you love most about being a student athlete at Southeastern?
So I chose teammates for life because on our golf team, nobody's from the same spot, but the friendships we've made, once we graduate, I know we'll always be friends, we'll always see each other, we'll always come back and visit.
All right, welcome back. Just a few minutes left to go here on our program. It's Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. And be here till 8. We do this each and every Monday night from 7 to 8 o'clock. If you haven't caught a show, make sure you come on out. Every week we're going to do a giveaway. This week we're going to give away a signed ball by Coach Scelfo. And are you drawing this, or how are we doing this?
Chris is going to come draw. We got a guest
on, Chris.
picker tonight. Got a guest pick. Get Chris up here, man. Come on.
Come on, this is live production now. We need somebody up here.
Here we go. This is live. Come on Facebook Live, it's called. I don't even know what Facebook is.
No, it's not on Facebook.
But
this is
live.
YouTube. This is on the Southeastern Sports Network.
Oh, it's even bigger than that. Don't look inside. Here we go.
Lion fans, hello.
Who you got?
Alrighty. The winner is the one, the only, Chris Lane.
No. Mark Willoughby.
Hey.
Voice of the Lions.
Mark Willoughby.
Voice of the Lions. Does a great job. There you go, Mark.
Awesome, man.
There you go, dude.
Good hands.
Also, I was told, okay, so just for those that are, if you're planning and say, hey, you know what, I want to go to a show, the next couple of shows we're going to be giving away signed jerseys by our Hall of Fame members. So we'll have a signed jersey by Simi Yarbrough and then a signed jersey by Brian Bennett over the next couple of weeks as we're going to give away. So that'll be awesome. So we'll give away helmets, we give away footballs. Awesome. We really appreciate everyone coming out here tonight. That certainly makes for a great atmosphere. As Lions, just a couple of minutes left to go in our program. Our Lions are taking on Lamar this Saturday night, 7 o'clock kickoff. Just came off of a tough loss to Ole Miss. Played the Rebels right down to the final minute of the game. Something I wanted to ask you, I've been wanting to ask you this all day. I meant to do it at the press conference and now through the first hour of this show. I wanted to ask you quickly about our conditioning because it was very hot on Saturday. If anybody watched it on TV or if you were there, you knew it was hot. I mean, I see some people that were here and saying, oh, my gosh, it was hot. Coach, we played a lot of snaps on defense, especially. Talk about how you felt our team was conditioned this early in the season.
I thought we held up well. I thought we held up well against Jacksonville State. That was a hot night. They had some issues with the weather, with cramping and things like that we didn't experience. Same thing, I think we held up well. I think Alex Bowers, our trainer, did a really good job getting our guys prepared, making sure that we hydrated during the course of the week, taking care of them at practice, making sure that we monitor those things. We monitor their weights every day in the weight room. We get them in ice tubs. We slow their body temperatures, cool them down. So I think it's not a one-day deal. It's a process that these guys go through building up, and our players have to own up to it. They have to make sure they stay hydrated, eating right, doing things they need to do, make sure their bodies can operate under those conditions. So we did. We played a lot of snaps, high-intensity snaps. I think Isaac played 70. Most of the offensive linemen were in the 70s. And when you play that many snaps and temperatures like that, you expect things to happen, and they didn't happen to us. So I was really pleased with that. Congratulatory, high fives to the training staff and our weight room group of guys for taking care of that. They did a good job.
I know when I saw the schedule and I saw that it was a 3 o'clock kick, I said, oh, this is going to be a hot one.
Yeah, it was perfect.
And it certainly
awesome,
was.
Man.
But this weekend it's going to be a night game, 7 o'clock game, so hopefully it's a little cooler, but it's still South Louisiana. It's still going to be hot.
It's going to be beautiful weather. Come on out. Beautiful. Fill up the stadium, man. Fill it up.
It's Wear Gold night.
Wear gold. That's right. It's a gold rush night.
It's a gold
We'll be in all gold uniforms. You guys wear gold. I got to see Junior Matthew out there. He wears gold all the time. Chains, watches, all of that stuff. He's always in gold. So we got all gold, as much gold as we can get in the stadium, man. That's
so we're going to fill up the stadium with gold this weekend as the Lions take on Lamar. It's Hall of Fame
I think
weekend.
we're giving out 500 free T-shirts to the first people that are coming in. So we'll have –
Is that right?
They'll have
600
T-shirts.
So the first 600.
Let's get 600 students in there, and then we'll get 600 more. We'll find some more shirts. We'll fill them up.
No doubt. It's Hall of Fame weekend, so once again, Simi Yarbrough and Brian Bennett will go in at halftime. 2 former Lion great football players. Also, Stephen Lopez is going in. So it's going to be a big night at Strawberry Stadium, and we hope that the Lions can get a big victory against Lamar and start off Southland Conference play. Coach, your final thoughts of the evening as we say goodbye for the night.
Yeah, I was again. We'll go back to Ole Miss just for a second to say that we're seeing something happen. We're seeing some growth take place with our players, and it's from maturity level. It's not talent, and that's not it. It's the growth mentally and how our approach is to the game and each and every play and throughout the course of 60 minutes, and even during the course of a week in practice. And that's what we want to see this week. If everything's wasted this past Saturday if we don't build on that. So it's very important that we build on that, and then on Saturday turn it loose again and play fast. And if nothing else, we play with great effort, and we'll have a chance. So we got to do the other things, take care of the football, but we have to play with great effort and intensity. And we need Strawberry Stadium and Hammond America to be filled up, man. We need everybody there doing their thing and getting us going, right? Because we feed off of that energy from our fans.
We hope everyone can be in Strawberry Stadium on Saturday night. If you can't, the game will be televised on ESPN3, or you can always listen right here on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. ESPN Plus, I'm getting told there, so the game will be televised there. We're completely out of time. I want to thank everybody who came out here tonight. As always, we want to thank our affiliates for getting us up on the air, and Colton Vickers for getting our broadcast here on the
Colton's
Southeastern Sports. He does a great job.
Well, Colton never gets enough credit. We always give Kemmler credit, but it's Colton. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm serious.
All right, we got to say goodbye. For Coach Scelfo, I'm Alan Waddell. We'll see you next time right here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by the Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction in Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. Line up, everybody. We'll see you Saturday.
Broadcasts on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network are a product of Lion Sport Properties. For more information on how you can support future broadcasts, Lion Sport Properties is available at area code 985-549-2570.